Hi everybody, Tom Matuska once again with Brett Wingfield, live on behalf of the Matuska Taxidermy Supply Company, Thursday afternoon program. And once again, we're back with making a wall pedestal out of your game head mannequin. We're showing you on a whitetail deer, and in the past few weeks, we've taken a plain wall mount, and like I said, we're doing a whitetail deer, but you can do this for a Cape buffalo. We've done it for a Cape buffalo. We've done it for a Cape buffalo. We did it for an elk. You can do all kinds of wall pedestals out of any of your full shoulder mounts. A lot of times there's not going to be one available, so you might have to, either not be able to supply your customer with what he wants, or you're going to have to make it yourself. In this instance, we did not have a size of a wall pedestal. So we took a full shoulder mount in the size that we needed. If you tune back, or maybe you saw the programs, the last couple of weeks, we added onto the full shoulder. We cut the backboard off. We added on enough so that we could have a little extension up here, a little artsy flare, and we added a brisket and a little bit of foreleg and something that we could sculpt out. And once we had that done, I always tell people it's easiest for me, rather than to figure angles and all that sort of thing right off the bat, make a pedestal out of it. Once you make a pedestal, hold a flat board behind it so you can kind of get a relationship of the neck and the head and the shoulders to your wall. And then where that board, just draw a parallel line and slice off the wall pedestal. So you're going to be short on the back side, but you're going to be long on this side. And it's easiest for us to do that. So we kind of waste a little foam, make a pedestal first, and then slice it into a wall pedestal. And then we also made some, he was looking a little bit too straight ahead, and so last week I think we showed you how to cut some V's out of the show side and make some relief cuts on the back side so that we could turn that head. And then I think you also put on one of the new XP heads. And that's a really handsome addition. And today what we're going to do is we're going to show you how we treat the back of your, this is going to show, people are going to be able to see back here, so you don't want raw styrofoam because you sanded that all out. So we're going to show you how we treat that. And we like to, on this one, and we did it a while back also for you, we like these laser engraved. It's not real leather. It looks like real leather. It's kind of a naugahyde type material. And this has a bucket of dough on it. People love them. They just absolutely love them. And they're the right size for the back of the mount. You treat it just like leather. Whether you use it, we use a lot of leather also on the back of these. If you're using leather, if you're putting any kind of covering on the back, it doesn't stick well to the styrofoam. And you can sand this real smooth. You can cover it with some kind of sealer. You can sand it again, make it really smooth, paint contact cement on, and then adhere this to the back. We find it a little bit easier we're going to cover that with auto body putty. We're just going to cover that, and we're going to sand it real smooth. You'll notice on the back of this mannequin, we've got some air bubbles from the foam that we foamed in. It wasn't poured under pressure, so it was just a free rise foam. It's not the best foam that we poured back here. And we're just going to cover that entire thing with auto body putty, and we're going to sculpt it, sand it. It's going to be relatively fast, and it's going to be a nice slick surface that this or leather or velvet or deer hide or anything that you want to glue on, you can glue onto it. And don't forget, through the whole broadcast, like and share, like and share, like and share.
You're getting good at that.
Am I good?
I tell Amanda Brown hi, she's watching.
Oh my gosh, hi Amanda Brown. So I think to start with, let me describe the process first, and then we'll get started. We did put another backboard on the back of this, but like I said, this is going to be the part that's exposed. So I think if you will take that and write him so we could work down on it, I'll mix you up some auto body putty, and this is, we can't run a taxidermy shop without We refer to every auto body putty as Bondo. No matter what we get, it's Bondo. But you'll like, Bondo is relatively inexpensive and goes a long ways. And we go through in our shop a gallon a day, probably.
Feels like
I think
it,
we
yeah.
brought up 3 today.
John Stewart, first of all, this is his first time watching live, but he watches our videos regularly.
Hi, John.
Hi, John.
Great learning experience. But he is wondering, have you ever experienced the poured foam separating from the prefabricated mannequin foam before?
Not usually.
Shouldn't.
Would that be what foam they're using to fill in?
Well, I would like to say ours is the best, and I can see where you're going with that little question you asked. But no, it shouldn't.
I think maybe if there was a mold release and he was on a slick surface,
Yeah.
we wipe. We rough them up with a foam rougher.
And you want it
do a
roughed
lot
up
of-
pretty good.
Yeah.
The surface that you're pouring onto, you want it roughed up pretty good.
Yep.
So that typically isn't a problem. I know exactly what he's talking about, because yes, I have had it happen, and no, I typically don't have it happen.
Yep.
Bad way to answer that question, but
Have, but
too
not
bad for you, John.
So make sure you have it wiped down. and
yeah,
double
just
check what
clean.
foam you're using.
Yeah.
Just clean. Now this is a pretty rough surface, so a rough surface is really good to have that stick to. Another thing we always, lots of times we'll take, I don't have my tack hammer here, but occasionally I'll do something like this, you know, with my tack hammer and rough it up,
Yeah.
so the foam can actually go down in there.
Gives it something to grip and bite
Watch,
against.
watch, I tell him that I don't have that problem. It'll happen. Okay.
Caitlin, can you see that? Is that going to be a good angle for you? We can tip that just a little bit for you guys. So the idea is, this is the wall surface. This is going to be the exposed surface, and that's what we're gonna cover.
You watch. That's exactly what will happen. Now, any kind of, they make so many different varieties of auto body putty. They make microspheres, kitty hair, chopped strand. They make really high quality body fillers. You don't want anything high quality. You want, I mean, we want the cheap stuff. The cheap stuff works like kind of the best for us.
Just lightweight, cheap. Hey, where's your bottom feeder?
My bottom feeder, I should have it, should I not? And in our shop, we go to Hyvee and we buy those great big long pork chop. No, pork loins. No, those great big long sleeves of cheap paper plates. They're just those cheap, probably plastic. And we have them over on our workbench, and you're always looking for something to mix auto body putty on, and pretty soon you're cutting the lid off a box, and then all of a sudden you wanted to use that box to send your hides to the tannery, and oh, now I cut the lid off it to mix Bando, and nothing works better than those. I mean, you're spending, they can't be half a cent a piece.
Yeah.
You know, they sell them for nothing, you can get them on sale, but those inexpensive paper plates. Okay, now that's gonna be plenty, I think, right?
Like
I don't want to have to do it twice if possible.
Right.
So there will be a little patch spot here and there. But I just spread out, I don't know what a dollop is, but I think this is many dollops.
I think that's a lot of dollops. That's more dollops than I would put on my baked potato.
That's hard. Okay, when you mix this, they'll have directions on the can if you've never used auto body putty before. This is a cream hardener. This is your resin putty. This will not set up and harden without your cream hardener. When we first ever started using the brand we use, they said, use 1 inch of cream hardener as it comes out of here per golf ball size. You know, so I got kind of a bucket of balls. So I'm just gonna do something like that.
That's an exact
Looks like
measurement.
a half a dollar.
Looks like we better hurry.
And we also have different color. So that's going to determine your finished color. This will be a pink. Will dry to a pink color. You'll see in just a second when Tom mixes that up. But we also have it in white. if you wanted to have more of a gray finish.
Now watch that you're not, you don't have swirls in. I have a lot of swirls now, but as you mix, you want to make sure you get all the swirls mixed out of here. And depending on how you mixed it, it looked like I put kind of a lot in there. So depending on how you mixed it, will depend on how much time you have. And it's going to take a little bit of experience before you know for sure. But I'm thinking I'm going to have 7 or 8 more minutes, maybe more. When you're live on camera, it never goes very fast, or else it goes way too fast.
Yeah, the danger is too fast.
Smells good.
This is the only reason we run the fan anymore. Now that we
It
use
is.
our Createx paints, we don't have to
That
breathe
is true.
that.
That is very true.
Can you add color to the Bondo?
Sure.
Absolutely, yep. Yep. And if you wanted to add color, you might choose to use the white neutral colored catalyst so you get a truer color. That would give you a better start rather than starting with pink and then having to alter color off of pink.
Does the color have to be the hardener, or can you add like?
No, you can
Resin
add.
dyes.
There's resin dyes, which we some nice resin dyes, which work pretty good. Otherwise, our lacquer paint works pretty good.
Yep, lacquer paints. It does get, if you add too much color, it does get a little bit soft. Doesn't quite harden as well. You need one of your big jumbo stir sticks.
Well, I do have that too. Now I may leave this a little on the rough side to start. And you'll get good at this to where you sometimes don't have to come back and do a lot of patching. Oops, hand me this little guy.
And now you're just covering the entire exposed surface.
Everything that's going to show, yeah.
How thick do you think that is?
An eighth to, I'm sure I'm hitting a quarter in several places. A quarter is overkill.
Is it critical? Is there any reason to be?
I don't need it for strength. Sometimes if I have a pedestal mount and I'm doing a back, I try to beef it up a little bit and make sure that the auto body putty is adding some strength, but I don't think it's very critical for putting on a back.
So this is the same procedure you would use for a full pedestal
It is.
instead of just a wall pedestal.
And you ever seen the people that do the rock scenes on the back and that sort of thing? You can use your auto body putty to start your little rocks. And these are brand new. Look at the size of those stir sticks. Where's the short one? This is regular tongue depressor. Oops, regular tongue depressor. Look at the big ones.
Where's the popsicle stick to show?
I know. Think what a popsicle stick that is.
8
That'd be.
inches.
Those are great. That's the best thing we ever got.
New, so you'll find them on the website, but they're sold in 30 pack and then 150, I think.
Those are nice. Now I find myself reaching for the box of tongue depressors going, oh, where are the big ones? Can't function without them.
Corey wants to know, do the XP mannequins fit smaller Iowa Midwest deer well?
Oh, baby, they do.
Exceptionally well.
Well, it depends how small. We have more
Yeah.
coming. Our smallest we have now is an 19 by 21 inch neck, or
18.5 by 20, I think might be our smallest in a 7.5, but we also have
the Southwest.
we also have a 7.25 inch face if they wanted to change out the face, and then the Southwest.
And we should probably have, by catalog time, almost as many as 20 new. That might be a little ambitious,
That was
but
a little ambitious.
I think Mandy
But-
just panicked a little bit.
I was on the phone with Brian for a while today, and they have been working pretty hard at adding to that line and different poses for you guys. So make sure you stay tuned, because we'll let you know as soon as more sizes and positions come out.
Okay, now we need to let that gel, and then once it does, and we can use our rasp, we call it a form rasp, while this is still soft, we can rasp that, and you can rasp it really, really nice and smooth. If you do a good job filling in all your big craters, there's very little rasping to do, and no patching afterwards.
People are asking good questions.
I like
Steven-
those questions.
I do too.
Yeah.
Then I don't have to come up with them. Steven's asking if there's a difference between using Bondo and Mache for this.
Mache would work. Bondo's
I can't-
instant, to me.
Yeah,
I like
Bondo's
to-
a little faster. The biggest thing about Mache is it seems to hold moisture longer. So if you were wanting to do this with Mache, you might have a few days that you'd let it cure to make sure you get all the moisture out, because we're gonna, what you haven't seen, we're gonna dress this with leather, and you wouldn't want any moisture to get into the leather and cause spotting or anything, but
Or you can wait.
yeah. Yeah.
We got Jeff Henderson tuning in from Rhode Island on YouTube right now.
Rhode Island. That's far.
Hi, Jeff. Okay, now you guys just keep talking, because I got about 8 minutes of hardening time here.
So it's gelled
It's
now.
gelled already, I can touch it.
Yeah. But it's not quite ready to rasp.
If you, now these will, this is just our form rasp. We can't, if you saw us earlier when the other sessions when we cut the mannequin, this is what we use to shape it, and our sculpting of foam would stop if it wasn't for this.
Yeah.
But we use it for all kinds of things. When you see me rasp on this auto body putty, this will eventually get all gummed up. If I go too soon, like right now,
Yeah.
this will gum up and it won't. There's a window to rasp, and if you do gum up your blade, you can get new blades. They're very inexpensive, but also you just take this and you can snap it off and lay that in lacquer thinner and a little wire brush, and it's
cleans out pretty
good to
good.
go again. So we use these over and over and over.
Tim White wants to know, how do you tuck your hide with a hard Bondo surface?
We don't tuck our hide typically. I guess my favorite method when I mount this deer is I would bring the skin with a good hide paste, like either Dermagrip or Pro 1, and I would bring that skin past the mannequin. I would probably use some little carding to hold it into the armpits.
Yep.
And then I would cut that skin an inch long, because invariably it's going to shrink back. If you cut it right onto the edge, it's going to shrink back and show your form. So I like to, I don't know, I think that's what we do here
Yeah,
most of the
we
time,
do.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Cut it past probably an inch. Then after it dries for a few days, come back, spritz it with water, because it's going to be hard as a rock and difficult to cut. Spritz it with water just to soften that leather a little bit. Take a sharp scalpel and cut that edge of leather, and it will be tight to here.
Yep, and they meet nice and tight. It's very nice. If you wanted to, you could cut a slot in your Bondo if you wanted to tuck.
Yes, we've done that.
Yeah.
We've done this method on lots of different animals, but you can see how nice and smooth I'm getting that. Now again, don't walk away and go to dinner, because when you come back, you would not be able to do this. It would be too hard.
Yeah. And if you haven't done this before and you're getting ready to do a big surface like this, probably worth your time to mix a little bit on a piece of cardboard, let it harden up, and go through a trial phase just to make sure you don't get a big hard block on the back of your mannequin that you can't grasp.
Now I've seen I've seen somebody take a piece of Masonite and
Yeah.
just form a piece of Masonite in there and a couple big screws, and fasten it right on. That's another method. There's a lot of different ways to do this. I went a little deep right there.
Stephen wants to know, when you trim the hide, once the mount is finished, are you cutting it flush with the edge so it all shows, or is some covered?
It is.
Flush with the, so all the mannequin is hidden. Everything's hidden.
Yeah.
It'll give you, I've always threatened, often threatened, to, otherwise a normal full shoulder mount, typically we wrap the skin around the back, we staple, 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 staple. We have a kind of a neat way of stapling off the back, and but I've often thought of doing the gluing to the edge on all of our commercial deer. I think Todd Cranow, if I'm not mistaken, does that with his customer deer.
Eugene is wondering if you've used a latex mold of barn wood that you pressed into the Bondo.
No, but you sure
No,
can, and
certainly
we
could.
have a really nice bark latex mold.
Yeah, yeah. The backs of pedestals and wall pedestals is an opportunity for tremendous
Creativity, I knew you were gonna say that.
We talked about that last week. The previous seen indentions here with, what were did you say skunks? Baby
Yeah,
skunks?
somebody had baby skunk. One of the shows, I'm not sure, it was many years ago, had it hollowed out up into here, and they had a little family of skunks in there. And I've seen raccoons looking out.
Lots of stuff. You could have, didn't somebody do a little hidey place to hide your keys and your firearms?
I'm sure.
I've seen some pretty amazing paintings on the back of them too. You could prep this the same way with the Bondo finish and make it nice and smooth and put your own artistic flair on the back.
Okay, now I have one kind of a big gouge here, which I'm not gonna spend the time to sand down through, but hand me your little sanding sponge there. I would mix up a little more and I would fix that little divot. And then we do something like so. And that just gives you a really nice, smooth surface that you can glue to. Like I said, we'd put ours on with...
And we'll show you how to do that. Typically, we do the finish, the leather, if we were to put leather on it, later. So it'll be, what, 2 or 3 or 4
After.
installments,
Yeah.
more weeks. But we'll show you how to do that part too. But we do like to prep the surface before mounting. It's just easier. Could they do this after?
We have, I don't think I have, but I've seen people do it, like students and things, and it's more difficult.
It is much
if you
more
forget this, I like that slick surface.
And you don't have the hair that you're worried about getting Bondo into and things like that.
Okay, other than one little spot there, I think that would be probably what we do.
Yeah.
Okay? It's awfully warm.
It is. Whoa.
Takes 2 people.
Good.
Good? Okay, and that's the part, now that'll, like I said before, contact cement. When we contact cement it, we'll show you, like Brett said in another segment, we're gonna take the back of this, contact cement, back of this, contact cement, very carefully, get a little help, put it on in one spot and work it out to the edges and then trim it all the way to the edge. And we do it like he said afterwards, so we'll have to get the hair out of there. And a lot of times we'll make a pattern out of paper of this back and trace that pattern onto that leather so that we're not working with a great big sheet of it. It works pretty good for us.
I mean, if you do a pattern, I was going to mention that too. It's nice to do it now, and we don't usually remember to, but nice to do it now. Pin it to the form, you'll have it, and that way you're not dealing with the hair. Later on. But
hair is not
we'll
your
show
friend.
you how to do that. Yeah.
Holly says, hi guys.
Hi, Holly.
Holly's traveling. Don't be watching this and not watching the road.
Holly brought cheese curds today.
She did.
I know.
I know. And you haven't had any, have you?
Fair?
Nope. Nope, not from the fair. Pretty funny.
And the Spencer Fair, which was canceled this year, did have their vendors, right?
Oh, yeah.
Food vendors.
Food vendors came.
I think they have some tonight too. But
And how was it, Mandy?
the line was awesome, the tailgating was fun in the car, but the roast beef was gone when we got there.
Too much tailgating.
The Spencer Fair has roast beef Sundays.
And they are excellent.
They are.
Excellent.
Okay.
What's next?
Another thing, we kind of pride ourselves in our shop, in all of our taxidermy work, I guess. You know, we don't make a lot of money in taxidermy, but we do give our customers probably the best product they can get in the industry. But another innovation which has come into the industry several years ago is the use of artificial noses. We've been using artificial noses for, bears and fox and coons and badgers and everything for years and years and years. And only recently, people started taking the initiative to make noses for deer. And Brian Olson, for his mule deer, for the Sagebrush Series mule deer, made cast a real nose from a very fresh mule deer. And these aren't just modeled from what the taxidermists think they should look like. They're molded and cast and reworked to perfection. And those are available on the Sagebrush Series mule deer. And Brett took some whitetail noses and formed them in the freezer, molded them. This is a trick, and it's very cold, and he comes out shaking and stuff like that, shivering. And there's a pretty big failure rate in there, because when you think everything is perfect and symmetrical, and only to find out in the finished product it's not, and it's back to the drawing board, and it's over and over and over. And I hate to think of how many hundreds of hours you have in your whitetail noses. But let's see one of those things. Hold one of these up. And we had a little contest several sessions ago, a few months ago, where Brett used one of his noses and he put it on the mannequin. And instead, I did the old method of carving out the nostril, putting in a septum, which we've done for years. And we were always real proud of our septum work, because we would show customers how shine a light over here and you can see through the septum. Blood vessels and the whole works. And it's one of these high-tech ones. Ooh, look at that. Can you see that? This is translucent. Is that the right word? Translucent acrylic. That's pretty.
And you won't see those in the catalog, but they are available online, and they will be in the 2020 catalog. But that's our medium whitetail.
Yeah.
Now the trick with carving out a nose, anybody can carve out a nostril. It doesn't take a lot of practice to carve out a nostril, and you can do it. It takes unbelievable talent to carve out two nostrils the same. It nearly can't be done. But these are, because they were molded from a fresh specimen, these are nearly perfect. And what isn't perfect, you went back in and you made it really, really perfect. The depth, you can see, here's another thing that's interesting. When you carve out from the front, you can only go back so far. You can't get it very accurate when you go back. You can only go so far because you can only see so far. To compensate for that, a lot of people cut the muzzle off and they come in from the back. That's another whole can of worms and trick in itself. I can see here, I bet you if I shine in there, look at, you can see the nasal passage. I'm shining my light in through a nostril, and 2.5 inches back, I can see your nasal passage. And that's not something you made, that's something that's cast from the real deer.
Yep.
So, would you like to show them how a person would use that?
Yeah. So the trick, I think, to artificial noses, one, get yourself a good cast, one that you're comfortable with, that has the opening that you like and the proper width and shape. But we need to somehow adjoin this to this. Doesn't matter the mannequin that you're using, you're gonna have to make these two things match. And oftentimes you can eyeball level, eyeball flush, and kind of draw yourself some guidelines. But we found that we've made a little template that matches the shape of the nose. So as long as it matches the shape of the nose, we should be able to take this shape and bring it up here and give ourselves a really good guideline as to how to cut this off. And that guideline will be nice and square and straight. Again, the template is flexible, so it would accommodate to some degree any mannequin that you wanted to use. If it were a little wider, this will flex. If it were a little narrower, you can put some pressure on it. It's not gonna, because we make this wider, it is gonna a little bit, and so you may have to adjust that with your cut-saw rasp or a file. But this is gonna give you a really close guideline on where to cut. And because this is made to match these XP forms, they match these shapes very, very well, we should have a pretty...
So if you were to guess and cut too low, you're gonna destroy your lip line.
Yep, you'll wreck your lip line. If you cut too high, you could be sanding. You could spend a considerable amount of time sanding. Now I'm being a little bit, not careless, but I'm trusting that I have this on straight because I'm not right up front. But as you,
not bad.
as
Pretty
you
good.
Put this template on, make sure that it goes on straight, that we're straight across here, that we have from this corner to the lip line and this corner to the lip line are the same. We'll come around here, draw ourselves a guide. Boy, that's hard. Can you make that
No, you got
corner?
it. You got it.
Did it touch?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And so now we have something like that. Now all we have to do is cut it off, and we'll set that nose on there. Does it look straight?
Mostly a little high on this side, not quite as high on this side.
Well, let's fix that before
We have the technology to overcome.
It is a little high over there. There we go. Better. There we go. Cut to the top line.
Now, what about if somebody doesn't want to do this, but they still want to use the artificial nose? I saw some companies have noses installed.
Noses that already come installed, and we have that, in fact, through all of Brian's mule deer forms, with the exception of the very big one, which we don't have a nose for yet. You can order it with that cutout that accommodates just perfectly, and I think it's just add an N to the end of their form number, isn't it?
Yes.
You'll get one.
And it's cheaper, right?
And it's,
Yeah.
yeah. I think
Cheaper
they
than
get a
buying the
discount.
nose separate.
Correct.
Yep. Yep. So I'm going to cut this off quick. Forgive the noise. This is just a simple little hacksaw blade. You could use a reciprocating saw. Use a knife.
I wouldn't want to do this on live Thursday night, Thursday afternoon.
I think
This
I
is
got
scary.
set. I think this is a setup.
It's a setup, all right.
I'm going to cut in here.
So now are we doing, if you buy so many noses, you get a free template?
Well,
That works.
I think that would be nice for him.
Yeah.
Buy 10 noses, artificial noses, get a free template.
And you're gonna want more of these. I mean, these are just handy to have, but you're gonna need it, not have it. It's good to have a few extras around,
And
so.
we have one for every size, for the size numbers that
Yes.
we carry.
Yep. And so there's that. Now let's see.
This is a real scary part.
This is a real scary part. Not
That looks
bad.
pretty good.
That's promising. We do have a solve file handy if I didn't make that cut very good. Now we're gonna set that up there.
Ooh, look at that.
I've got just a little wobble right there, but it sits on there pretty nice, and you can see from here, from the side, it's pretty clean, fairly clean front. So the next thing I would do is check the shape. How does the nose shape meet the mannequin shape? And I don't know. I feel like I've got just a little bit, about a 32nd of an inch of overhang here. I'm gonna just touch this. I like my angle, so I'm gonna try to make sure I'm touching all surfaces with the file. And just move this back. I like that picture.
And you have assembled a whole series of books, eyes and noses and ears, and these are some exceptional pictures from us and from Dan Vrips and for Lacey Combs.
Yep. Dan just got a new camera, so I think he's been practicing with his new toy too. But he takes some amazing pictures. So it's
Now this is the nose book. I mean, when you're, now you can mess this up. You can, no matter whether you have the
absolutely.
template or whatever, you tip the nose up or left or right, and you can make this animal look a little different than what you hoped he would. So don't forget your reference material, even though, you know,
Absolutely.
you have the best commercial nose on the market, you're gonna wanna put it on nice and straight. But there's a whole series of ears, eyes, noses, overall reference pictures by some tremendous
and
photographers.
hopefully maybe some more coming for the next catalog. We'll see.
Little proud right
We do
there.
have a few questions. First, Lori wants to know if the ice cream truck came today.
All right,
This,
yes,
it
it did. And I got nothing because I am on this gluten-free, dairy product-free diet that my wife says is good for us. And it's terrible.
Do you have the fruit bar?
Well, I don't know about a fruit bar.
That's what I got, is fruit bar.
So I skipped the ice cream truck. I went out and bought one fruit bar for somebody.
I said thank you. Gina wants to know, back to the form and the backing. Why don't you put the back on before you mount the skin? Is it because the material you are using, when she uses the fake leather material, she does everything before mounting it and cleans up nicely from any high paste that gets on it? Just wondered why you wait till later.
I think the reason we wait till later is because we've always in the past used leather. And if you get glue or water on leather, you wreck it. And so when this is a relatively new product. We haven't had it a year or something like that.
Yep.
We treat it like leather, so we put it on last like
Yeah.
leather. But as you were reading the question, I thought, yeah, it's plastic. Why don't we just do it now? You know, I think we can.
I think you could, but I think you'd have to be neater than I am.
Neater than you are?
I'm bad with my
If you're
glue.
a neat person, you can put it on anytime.
Yeah.
Just be careful.
Yep. Don't spill your paint when you're painting your eyes at the end of the finish work. That would be something that I would do. Be careful, but sure you could.
John wants to know, are form alterations the same for fish mannequins?
A lot the same, but different.
Yeah. Anywhere the spinal column can move, fish, bird, deer,
Yep.
you can
Yep.
change the mannequin on the same principle. As long as you move the mannequin at the spine, which we did on the deer by
Yep.
taking out wedges. Yeah, we've done that with fish pretty successfully,
Yep.
quite a bit.
Birds, fish, even birds.
Yep. Now, do we want to put this on?
I think
for
so.
permanent? So we know we have a good porous surface here from the foam that we cut. I'm just going to take our detail rougher, and this material, this translucent pink material, roughs really nice, really, really nice. It doesn't take much. We've got that surface nice and roughed up.
Oh, not our logo.
The logo, the pretty deer logo that tells us this is a medium and it's a whitetail and all that stuff, we're gonna go right over top of that.
And I'm not so sure, deer exhibit different nose looks, and like when they're winding something, they flare their wings of their nostrils. I remember when we had our deer out here and they were laying in the sun just chewing their cud, there was nothing but a slit there when they're very, very relaxed. Or there's a normal gape in their nose, nostril opening.
Yep.
And a lot of the nostrils I've seen extremely wide open, which facilitates getting them out of the mold, and getting out of the mold we discovered. And I think we will have maybe 3 different configurations for, we'll have a extremely alert. Right now we have the, this one, it's not closed, but it's not flared like he's winding something. So you're gonna have the opportunity to choose from, you know, a selection of different attitudes.
As well as sizes.
Eugene wants to know if you'll ever offer the nose already on the whitetail mannequin.
Oh, that could be.
That could be. That could be.
James wants to know if the template comes with the nose. James, if you buy 10, you'll get a free template with it.
Or you can buy them separately for.
Or you can buy them separately for $6.95.
And the nice thing about it is flexible. This, you should try that one. So this is a competitor's choice head. This is an XP head. And you can see this,
Oops, I got the mule
this
deer.
contour matches
Hand me the whitetail.
really nice. Very, very little alteration. Very little, no sanding whatsoever in this transition between the yellow foam and the pink nose. We'll see how this one cuts. This is a little scary, but.
This fits good.
Now I'm just going to apply, this is our extra strength hot glue, hot melt glue. I'm just going to put a little bit of this on the back. I'm going to bring a little bit of this onto the bottom. And we've had really good luck, as long as you have good surfaces, attaching this nose permanently. Worth checking as you're attaching these 2 heights, you want to make sure are the same, so that we don't have it crooked. And I'm going to look at that and align that. That looks good. And then you can kind of feel your corners, make sure it's straight, stand above and below. And I think that's going to work. And we'll let that set up, and then if we have to, you can come back with just a little bit of sandpaper. And
See, now when we had our little contest, I was still working on my first nostril. So everybody says, is this worth it? You know, why keep throwing good money after bad. I'm buying this and I'm buying that. I'm buying white banded eyes, and pretty soon I've got, holy smokes, I got $100 into this deer head in just materials. This is probably some of the better money you're ever going to spend. It's fast, it's easy, it's extremely accurate. It's not foolproof. You still have to align the skin on here. You still have to tuck your nostrils in there and keep them adhered. You know,
and you have to thin your skin. You
Thin your
really
skin.
do have to thin your skin in order to take advantage of all of that detail, just like you would if you were to carve it. You really have to thin your skin to get a nice tuck and nice transition on any artificial head or on an artificial nose, not just this one, but any and all of them.
Is this what you said was scary?
Yeah, real scary.
And you're having me do it.
Oh, you're running south on this one. Just a little bit, just a tiny bit. Perfect. And this is our medium whitetail nose. It goes exceptionally well on the 7.5 inch, on a 7.5 and a smaller 7 3/4 inch deer, whitetail, Midwestern whitetail. This is the XP, the new XP 7.5 inch head, and it conforms exceptionally well right through this whole transition area, so shapes match very well. If you did have a little bit of an overhang or a little bit of shape, you can use either clay in the mounting process, or you could use Bondo or epoxy to blend that little bit of difference if there was any.
Speaking of XPs, have you seen sneaks?
Ooh,
Are they not
man,
cool?
I'm very excited about the sneaks.
They're like the coolest form going.
We've got a cool one coming, and more sizes I hear on the way soon. That's pretty exciting. I'm really anxious to see that XP sneak in some of the bigger ones.
Fun talking to Brian about it. I mean, we can give him a little what's to come in the future, right? Just don't think it's going to be here next week and ready to go out the door. But
Oh, no nose.
I
Brian
will
was
get you
talking
one.
about in the future full sneak for the mule deer series sagebrush. We have the upright series for the XP coming. We have the semi-sneaks, they're adding to that line still. They have 2 more full sneaks, they're working on wall pedestals. So all that is kind of in the works that we are
Going this.
to be having.
I got to go back a little farther.
Other side of the line.
And these cuts-all forms, or cuts-all wraps, are something every taxidermist should have.
It makes sanding a flat surface or filing a flat surface really, really nice.
Pretty close. I can go down just a touch.
John, do you still have to carve the nose for lip tuck, or is it already made to accommodate lip tuck?
It's above
It is above
your
yes.
lips, so
Yep.
if you look at the picture, or if you look at the camera, you're still going to have to cut your lip slot.
And the reason we did it above the lip is we don't want to.
Yeah, we don't want to have to work with that hard surface. We like the integrity of the foam. We cut it up as high as we could to keep all of that detail that goes down, but we really, really watched the maximum allowable depth, and I think we did pretty good to give you a good, strong lip line.
James, can you please explain the sizes of noses?
This nose is molded from a smaller 7 3/4 inch deer. It was an archery deer from here in Iowa. We found that dimensionally from here and this distance and this distance, it matches really nice to a nice mature 7.5 inch deer, typical of our Midwestern whitetail, which work with our XP forms exceptionally well. It does go on the 7 3/4 inch head. This dimension is exactly the same. So same width. It is sanded down. The rhinarium is sanded down in width, so it's not quite as wide, so that you can accommodate your skin over the top of it. But that's what we've got for the whitetail. We have a medium that kind of follows along those same lines in the mule deer, and then we also have a small that fits on our 7 1/4.
And how would you pick whether to use a small or a medium mule deer nose?
I think at the price of them, I don't buy a dozen. No, at the price of them,
Buy 10 so you get your 10.
I mean they're reasonably inexpensive. Buy a couple and have one. You'll be able to look at a deer and go, that's not going to take a medium nose. That's going to take a big one, you know, type of thing.
That mule deer, the distance, the shape where it meets the foam is it's a very small difference. It's more up here. There's just a little bit in the width the distance or difference in the small and the medium is not very much. It meets up pretty nice. How'd that work?
I think you see. Other than my sloppy
yeah.
cutting, it's pretty close.
Well, that's really close.
Now when you put it on, I mean, it's nothing more than a little tiny rim that 1 or 2 swipes with a sandpaper and you're together.
Yeah. And for it not being made to this mannequin,
Yeah.
that's a
That was
very-
not modeled. This wasn't even in the
Nope.
on the floor when we did it.
Nope. So that's a pretty nice and easy transition. If we had a tiny bit of Rick Crane's clay or epoxy sculpt, you could epoxy that permanent, or you could epoxy fix that. I wouldn't even be afraid to sand the foam and wouldn't even have to epoxy it. I'm just sand the foam on that. That's very, very,
And
very close.
you people, when you get deer in, everybody is real critical about nose to eye. You know, make sure you take a nose to eye, and I'd say half the taxidermists don't do that. You know, I need a 19-inch neck. You know, okay, 19, first measurement or second measurement? I don't know, just 19. And what was his
We get
nose to
that.
eye? I never measure those. You know, it makes a huge difference. When you have to
really
stretch
does.
this skin this way, something isn't gonna fit this way.
Yeah.
So I think my game head taxidermy got much easier when I get the deer in. I like to take the neck measurements. I love to take between the eye corner. I guess I learned that doing sheep because this width right here on a sheep is really critical, and especially African animals, which you don't do a lot of and you're not as familiar with. This right between the bone, there's no skin here. There's a 64th of inch of skin. So bone to bone right there, that measurement, we call it E measurement on our changeout heads. That E measurement, write it down on your invoice or someplace on a little piece of paper, and go ahead, take the widest part of the nose, take the wings of the nose, take the inside of the nostril of the nose. On bears, something that we really like to do is take like an open mouth bear, you know, that lip to where the nose goes, because people invariably tip the nose up, which looks really nice and snarly, but now your skin can't get to the inside of the mouth, you know, where it goes. So some of these little things that you don't think of because you're so concerned about how big a neck that deer had, these things will really make your life easier.
It does. It does. The better and more accurate your measurements are, the better your mount's going to be.
John was wondering if we're gonna do any more painting videos with our new paint.
Oh gosh, yes.
What's he want to see painted?
I don't know, but we did put together a new fish kit of Createx that's available
did.
online, or you can call in.
Yeah.
But that has 8 colors, kind of like the game head kit, basically to get you started with what we would use, and it does have a reducer in that as well.
Yeah.
So you can check that out.
And that's a base color. Those are just the base, very basic primaries.
Oh, and look at that. Look at how crafty that is. Look at Sling Go.
That is the fish kit.
And those are just colors that basic colors you're going to need. It doesn't have any of the, we do a lot of liquid scales. Even Createx has a lot of metallics, which are thicker also, and pearls that you can hand paint, because we do a lot of hand painting also. They have so many cool colors that you just look at the bottle, you get excited to use them, but you have to invent places to put them because they're so neat, you know, like, ooh, this is so cool, I think I need to put it somewhere.
Those Createx paints are fun. We've been painting a lot, had a lot of paint in the air.
When do we get to see the new musky lures? Is that a secret still?
Someday soon, yes. That's been pretty
You're going to
fun.
see, I don't know if they work. I don't know if they'll catch a fish, but
We're trying.
I would put them in a frame and put them on the wall because they are the most beautiful musky lures I've ever seen in my life.
Pretty excited.
They don't have to catch fish, they have to catch fishermen.
Well, hopefully they get one or two.
Oh man, they're pretty.
Lori wants to know, will there be a discount this week on the paint? LOL.
Oh.
What is on the discount this week?
I think all of our products that we did with this, probably noses, change out heads,
We'll add Createx
Bando.
paint for you, Lori.
maybe a game head
Wow.
kit.
Yeah, we can add the Createx
Wow.
paint.
That's pretty
When you
fancy.
get that Createx paint, you're going to get it and you're going to go, what do I do with this? Play with it, give us a call. And we were on the phone a while before we got comfortable, and we'd say, yes, it's supposed to. And watch the videos. Watch the Createx videos. Watch what these people can do with Createx. It's the most unbelievable system ever, but you have to learn how to work with it.
You really do. Give it a
And
little
once
bit
you
of time.
do, it's more friendly.
We'll also throw the template, the nose template, on our 15%
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
discount. Brett dirtied mine up in a little second. Worked hard on that one.
Yeah, the white ones are going to get a little bit on the dirty side.
But yeah, so the nose template will be on. We'll throw the Createx paints on for you. Just call in or your way.
Noses.
Noses are on there. Change out heads.
And we're giving away?
We're gonna give away.
You're gonna give away both of them.
I think so.
I think
They
like
need
that.
both.
So make sure to like and share this video. Last week's winner is gonna get a chance to win the new. It's not even new anymore, is it?
No.
The new old Whitetail medium replacement nose, along with the nose template.
The very new
The
nose
very
template.
new nose template, which just makes for an easy cut off of your head for the assembly of your nose. So make sure to like and share, and the winner for last week for this is
Candace Bradley Payne.
Candace, you're going to love it.
and
When-
let us know if you want a mule deer one instead. We'll swap out whitetail or mule deer, but get that choice.
And we have so many new, innovative, cool, cutting-edge things coming for
In the
2021.
works. Oh my gosh.
Lots.
Yeah.
And we're getting stuff every week too. So every week we have new stuff coming in. Whether it's for the catalog, we're trying out, we're testing. We did add 14 new colors of the pan pastels. Those are online right now for you. And we got in Easy Carve. We had a couple of customers asking about the Easy Carve along with Clint Rickey's post. He uses it for his inner ear seams and nostrils, and so we looked into that, and we do have that and the 307 light and a thickening agent that are in stock and ready right now. We're still playing and working with that. We also have a new line of pins, like little tiny
all
pins.
kinds of
And
pins.
panels?
Detail pins.
Panels, bases. You can find all that online. It's not in the catalog yet. I don't know if we're gonna do a 2021. No, we can't. So much to do. But yeah, check those out. Again, these big old.
Those are awesome.
There, hold
Do you
that.
have all three of them?
Yeah.
These just are not big enough to get to the bottom of our 16-ounce cups. And this is what you want. These are the best thing we ever got in. Here's our little popsicle
There's your
sticks, which
popsicle
come with
stick.
the fruit bars.
Yeah. That's mine.
It is not.
But they come in 30 pack or 150. They're online. Super inexpensive, but easy to use.
Otherwise, you're going to be down cutting sticks like this.
Oh my gosh.
On the
yes,
bandsaw.
We cut a lot of sticks.
They
And
sound like that, you know.
I know. I thought Mandy was going to make us cut them for the catalog. I thought we were going to have to start making these.
I know a place that sells them. But yeah, and we're getting more XP forms this weekend, so those go into
That's exciting.
molding and all that, so it'll be a little bit, but you guys will be the first to know, especially our Facebook Live viewers. You guys know before anyone else. So keep watching. Next week is what?
Oh,
More
we're
of
going
this.
to continue on with this.
We're going to put some hair on this at some point.
Perfect. I feel like you guys.
Actually, we're not. Actually,
you're
we're not.
right.
We're going to have to switch. These antlers are getting measured, so we're going to. I don't know where he
think we
went. We
pushed
have
him
another
aside.
one very similar. That's going to be another one. So between now and next week, we will convert the other one to this stage, and we'll
That's
pick up
right.
with that one and
Yeah.
finish that one.
Opposite turn, basically the same pose.
Does that stand you're using support an elk?
Oh,
my
gosh.
yes.
Does it?
And elk
You better go look
and-
at our videos.
Yeah.
It supported you, two caribous, and 3 caribous on the forehead finish.
Two moose.
And a caribou. And you.
Yeah, a caribou and
think-
me.
And I spun you around.
Yes, you did. We had the forehead, and it held it all. It's the four-headed one. Yes, it'll hold it just fine. It's got extensions on the legs. It's the Bob Fothery stand. It's got big, long extensions that pull out. It's got 2 tighteners to hold the up and down right here. and yeah, it'll hold an elk.
Hold it
We've
out.
had, we had Cape Buffalo on it. We've had some pretty big stuff on them.
Yeah.
And not to say there's not a little bit of bounce, you know, just like any stand's gonna, but we
definitely.
put big stuff on it. Is that it?
That's it.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Call us in 1-800-488-3256.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah.